Welcome to the deep dive. We're plunging into those intricate systems, the often unseen frameworks that really shape our world. Today, we're navigating something that governs, well, a huge part of modern life, our reliance on online spaces, and the legal structures holding it all together. We're embarking on a deep dive into India's cybercrime laws. Think of this as your shortcut to understanding the key laws of specific crimes and the, frankly, unique challenges in policing this huge digital world. It's like looking at the blueprints for a national digital fortress.
And honestly, the deeper you go, the more you see how vital these laws are, especially now, right? In this borderless digital age, understanding them isn't just for lawyers. It's key to getting the behind the scenes of digital security, of justice, stuff that affects all of us online.
Okay, so let's unpack this, starting with the absolute foundation, the cornerstone. India's Information Technology Act, the IT Act 2000. This isn't just any law, it's really the main statute. It sets up the whole legal framework for e-commerce, digital government, and crucially for us today, defining cybercrimes.
That's right. And it's important to remember, this law hasn't just sat there. It was significantly amended back in 2008. Big changes. These updates brought in specific rules for really serious stuff. Think cyber terrorism, stronger data privacy rules, and a much tougher line on intermediary liability.
Intermediary liability.
Yeah.
So that's about what platforms are responsible for,
Right.
like social media sites.
Exactly. What they're responsible for regarding user content, the data they hold. It's a constant balancing act in the digital world.
And to make this all work, India's got this kind of multi-layered defense system, right? With key agencies doing the actual policing. First, you've got the Indian Cybercrime Coordination Center, I4C they call it, basically the central hub set up by the Home Ministry. Its job is to coordinate everything, share intelligence, link investigations across states, UTs, making sure everyone's working together.
Yeah, the coordination piece is huge. And then you have CERT-IN, that's the Computer Emergency Response Team India. These guys are the national frontline responders for computer security incidents, like the digital fire brigade almost. They issue alerts on vulnerabilities, coordinate incident response, analyze threats, report back. If there's a big digital threat emerging, CERT-IN is usually involved.
Right. And then drilling down, you've got the state-level cybercrime cells in most police departments.
Yep. Specialized units, they have forensic capabilities for digital evidence, recovering data, tracing things online, that kind of stuff.
So when you look at that whole picture, I4C coordinating, certain responding to big incidents, and the state cells investigating locally, it really is like a national digital defense system, working away, often unseen, to protect you.
Okay, so we've got the IT Act, the main law, and the agencies enforcing it. But what powers does it actually give them? What counts as a cybercrime? Let's get into the specifics now. The teeth of the act, you could say, the actual offenses and penalties. This is where it gets really interesting.
Absolutely. And the act covers a really wide spectrum. You'll see the penalties often match how serious the digital crime is. So, for example, Section 65. This is about tampering with computer source documents.
Source documents, like the actual code. Exactly. Intentionally concealing, destroying, or altering source code. The punishment. Up to 3 years in prison, or a fine up to 2 hours in. Or it could be both. It's interesting how early the act recognized that the code itself needed protection. Very foundational.
Yeah, protecting the building blocks of the systems. Makes sense.
Then closely related is Section 66. That's hacking with computer system. Basically unauthorized access, but with the intent to cause wrongful loss or damage.
Oh.
Penalty is similar there. Up to 3 years, or bigger fine this time, up to $5,000, or both. Then moving into digital deception, Section 66C is identity theft. Using someone else's electronic signature, password, unique ID fraudulently.
Right. Using someone's digital identity. That feels like a huge problem these days.
It absolutely is, and the penalty reflects that. Up to 3 years prison, or a fine up to $1,000, or both. And then there's Section 66D, cheating by personation. Using a computer to impersonate someone else to cheat them.
Like phishing scams or fake profiles.
Exactly those kinds of things. Same penalty again. Up to 3 years, or a fine up to Euro 1,000, or both. Now, Section 66E is really crucial today. Violation of privacy. Capturing, publishing, transmitting someone's private image without their consent.
That one feels incredibly relevant with, how easily things spread online. Must be tough to tackle.
It presents massive challenges, definitely. We can touch on those challenges later. But sticking with the severe stuff, Section 66F deals with cyber terrorism.
Okay, that sounds serious.
It is. Unauthorized computer access with intent to threaten India's unity, integrity, security. The punishment here is stark, up to life imprisonment.
Wow, life.
Yeah, it shows how seriously that's taken. And finally, for this quick overview, Section 67, publishing obscene material electronically, first conviction, up to 3 years jail and a hefty fine, up to $5,000 if you do it again. Subsequent conviction gets you up to 5 years and a fine up to $10,000. So you see the range, right? From fines for some things right up to life imprisonment for others. It's pretty comprehensive coverage.
It really is striking, the sheer breadth of what counts as a cybercrime under this act. From messing with code to cyber terrorism, it's all laid out. Makes you wonder how effectively it can all be enforced, though. Now, the IT Act, it's foundational, sure, but it's not working alone, is it? India recently brought in a major new piece of law, the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, BNS 2023.
That's right.
This replaces the old Indian Penal Code, the IPC, and it seems to play this complementary role for cybercrimes that maybe also have an offline angle, bringing traditional law into the digital age.
Exactly. You've nailed it. The IT Act hits the pure cyber offenses, hacking, identity theft. The BNS covers crimes that can be done digitally, even if they aren't only digital, like Section 78 in the BNS, stalking. It now specifically includes monitoring a woman's internet use, email, electronic communication, when she's clearly says she's not interested.
So online stalking is now explicitly criminal stalking, not just implied.
Absolutely explicit, makes it much clearer. Same idea with Section 79. Insulting modesty of a woman, it applies to insults using words, gestures, objects, including via electronic communication. So online harassment is covered directly under general criminal law now.
Okay.
But the really big one here, I think, is Section 111 on organized crime. This is new and very significant in the BNS. It defines organized crime, broadly continuing unlawful activity by a syndicate, but crucially, the definition explicitly includes cybercrimes.
Wow. So it's not just about individual hackers anymore. This allows them to go after the bigger cybercriminal gangs, the enterprises.
Precisely. It's a major shift, and the penalties reflect that. We're talking potentially life imprisonment, even the death penalty in some cases. It shows how seriously the state views these large-scale cyber threats.
That's a massive change in approach.
It is. And beyond that, the BNS keeps and updates sections on fraud and cheating. These general provisions can now be applied more easily to modern digital scams, email spoofing, fake websites, all that stuff. It really connects the dots, shows how traditional criminal law is trying hard to evolve and catch these digital methods.
So, okay, we have these laws, the IT Act, the BNS, we have specialized agencies.
Yeah.
But it still feels like prosecuting cybercrime is incredibly hard.
Yeah.
Why is that? What are the big roadblocks? It really does seem like a digital maze sometimes.
Oh, it absolutely is a maze. For, several key reasons. A huge one is jurisdictional issues.
Right, because it's online, it's everywhere and nowhere.
Exactly. Cybercrime doesn't respect borders. Someone in country A can attack someone in country B, affecting systems in country C. Where do you investigate? Where do you hold the trial? It gets very messy very quickly. And getting international cooperation, that's often essential, but really difficult.
So figuring out who even gets to handle the case is the first hurdle, before you even get to the evidence.
Precisely. And speaking of evidence, that's the next big challenge. Admissibility of digital evidence. India's Evidence Act has this really strict section, Section 65B. It lays out exactly how electronic records need to be certified to be used in court. You need a certificate from whoever's in charge of the computer system. It has to say the evidence came from the normal course of activity, wasn't tampered with.
That sounds incredibly technical. Easy to trip up on.
Very easy. It's a procedural minefield. If you don't get that certificate exactly right, the evidence, no matter how strong it seems, might just get thrown out, which can completely wreck a prosecution.
Wow, so a technicality can derail the whole case. That's tough.
It's a massive hurdle. And add to that the challenges in forensic analysis. Technology evolves so fast. Forensic tools, techniques, they need constant updates. Often agencies just don't have enough trained people or the latest labs, especially when you're dealing with, say, heavily encrypted data or evidence scattered across cloud servers globally or brand new types of malware. It's a constant catch-up game.
An arms race, basically.
Kind of, yeah. And finally, there's anonymity and attribution. This is still a fundamental problem. People use proxy servers, VPNs, other tools to hide who they are and where they are. It can make tracing the actual criminal incredibly difficult, sometimes impossible. Cases just hit a dead end because you can't definitively prove who did it.
When you list them out, like the borders, evidence rules, the tech race, anonymity, you really see the scale of the challenge. It explains why these cases are so hard to crack, even with good laws on the books. So pulling it all together then, what does this mean? The IT Act isn't an island. it works with these other laws, right? Like the BNS, the Evidence Act. It's more like a network of laws.
That's a great way to put it. A network, or maybe a legal toolkit. Use different laws for different aspects. So the IT Act and the BNS, they work side by side. IT Act for the purely tech crimes, hacking, data theft. BNS for broader crimes done digitally, like online defamation, maybe stalking, as we discussed. And there's this legal idea, lex specialis. It means the specific law usually overrides the general one. So if something is clearly covered by the IT Act, like hacking, that law generally takes priority over a more general BNS provision.
Okay, so that helps decide which law applies when there might be overlap, stops things getting too messy.
Hopefully, yeah. Then you've got the really critical link between the IT Act and the Indian Evidence Act. We talked about Section 65B. The IT Act says electronic records are legally valid, but the Evidence Act, especially 65B, says how you prove that validity in court. It provides the procedural checks and balances for digital evidence. The IT Act also added Section 79A, allowing the government to appoint official examiners of electronic evidence. These are the digital forensics experts whose opinions carry weight in court. It formalizes their role.
So it's this constant back and forth between the two laws, recognizing digital evidence, but also making sure it's properly verified and presented.
Exactly. And beyond those main ones, the IT Act interacts with other statutes too. Think about copyright law, trademark law, online copyright piracy, for instance. That could potentially fall under both the IT Act and the Copyright Act, depending on the specifics. So it creates this layered defense, different laws covering different angles of digital misbehavior.
It really makes you appreciate how layered it is. It's not just one law trying to do everything, but this interconnected system trying to manage a really complex and fast-moving digital world.
So to wrap up this deep dive then, we've really journeyed through, well, a pretty dynamic and evolving shield India's cybercrime laws, from that foundational IT Act spelling out specific digital crimes to the newer BNS that's updating how traditional crimes are handled when they go online. It's clearly a comprehensive and pretty complex legal framework trying to keep us safe. Indeed. And understanding these frameworks, even just the basics, is so important for navigating cyberspace safely. It really highlights how legal systems everywhere have to keep adapting constantly to new threats, new technologies. These laws show that the digital world, just like the physical one, absolutely needs clear rules and robust enforcement.
Absolutely. Which leaves us, and you, our listener, with maybe a final thought to chew on. Given how incredibly fast technology changes, how fast cyber threats evolve, how effectively can any legal system really keep pace without needing constant tweaks, constant reevaluation, and maybe more fundamentally, beyond the laws, beyond the police, what's our role? What's the role of individuals like you in building a safer digital space for everyone? Something to think about. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and we'll catch you on the next one.